I'm sure you heard him last week saying that he wanted to nationalize elections and that Republicans should take over elections. I want you to talk about that, but do you actually think that we're going to have a real election for the midterms in 2026 or in 2028 for that matter, beyond 2026?
We will have elections in 2026 and 2028 and 2030 because the president's not in charge.
Free and fair, though?
Yes, because elections are state-run functions, and we cannot ever give up that authority. The president of the United States does not determine what elections look like in the state of Maryland. He does not. The president of the United States can now, when he says we're going to get rid of mail-in balloting, Mr. President, you cannot get rid of mail-in balloting in the state of Maryland because we have an elections commission that actually leads on our elections. That is not a federal function. What he's talking about when it comes to the nationalizing of elections is actually a violation of the law.
Right.
And so we just need our governors and our secretaries of state and our attorney generals to never, ever give up that authority, because that is something that falls into the hands of the states. That is federalism. And so, but this is also why we need to know that these things are not happening in isolation. That whether you're talking about a conversation of the introduction of ICE, whether you're talking about a conversation of nationalizing election, or whether you're seeing what he's doing in Texas and Florida and Missouri and Ohio and North Carolina, when he's handpicking which states to go through mid-decade redistricting. If you notice, he's only picking the states where he thinks he can pick up Republican seats. He's not saying the whole nation should do this. He's saying his hand-chosen states should do this. And so that's why in the state of Maryland, I'm saying that if the rest of the country is going to have a conversation about what their map should look like come November, then so should Maryland. And I'm really proud of the Maryland House of Delegates who have already gone and helped to lead this issue. They have debated, they have discussed, they made adjustments, and then they passed legislation. And we saw how the first Afro-Latina speaker in Maryland history helped to lead that charge. We saw how the Maryland Senate, we had senators like Senator Arthur Ellis, who is a military veteran, who, like me, served this country and fought for democracy, stood up on the Senate floor and said, I'm just asking for a vote, because he knows he represents a much larger voice in the Maryland Senate. But this thing is now getting blocked by Senate leadership, who is saying they do not want to have a vote. That's not democracy. Democracy, the democracy we fought for, is simply saying debate the issue, discuss it, make changes if you see fit, but vote. We want to see a vote. And that's what we're demanding from the Maryland Senate.